Hi folks, it's Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I went, when was it? A couple nights ago, and I watched the movie Allied, starring Brad Pitt. And if you are planning to see that movie and you don't want it ruined, then turn the video off, because I'm going to ruin the movie. I've got to ruin the movie to talk about the plot and the characters, and I don't want to ruin it for you if you'd rather, because there's sort of like a twist and a surprise in it. So turn off the video, come back to it after you watch the movie. So I don't want to ruin it for you. But for the rest of you who may not see it, or don't mind having the movie ruined, or maybe you've already seen it, then proceed with the video. So the title of my video is Allied with Shades of Darkness and Deception. The movie review says Max Vatan, who was played by Brad Pitt, and Marianne Beauséjour, played by Marion Cotillard, are World War II operatives who never reveal their true identities. After falling in love during a very risky mission, they hope to leave all that double dealing behind them and start new lives together. Instead, suspicion and danger envelope their marriage as both husband and wife become pitted against each other in an escalating, potentially lethal test that has global consequences. The director is Robert Zemeckis. I think I just mispronounced that. Zemeckis. You guys know who it is. Pretty famous director. So here's the deal. This is what spoke to me. Many of us are just super shocked and wounded that the person that we loved and was married to or committed to for so long, how it could appear that they loved us nothing at all. And that's the thing that's so wounding. So I'm just going to put this out there. I don't know your situation. You maybe were involved with somebody who never loved you, who was a true sociopathic individual who hasn't a heart and a soul. That very well may be true about you. For me, I think I'm starting to see a little bit of gray area in my situation. So what happened in the movie was Brad Pitt had this mission. They were going to kill some French diplomat, and they were going to do it not in a very sneaky way. It was at a reception, at a ball with hundreds of people there. The plan was blow up a car outside. Everybody's looking outside, flip over a table, pull out some machine guns, and just start shooting everybody, especially the guy who came there to shoot. So he shows up about 3 weeks before the planned assassination, and this Marianne was already in place, and he thought she was a famous British spy. The truth is, the Germans had killed Marianne and replaced her with a lookalike who was actually a German spy. So Brad Pitt shows up. He thinks he's getting a British agent. He's getting a German secret agent for a wife. But they go ahead and they kill the diplomat. And it turns out Hitler wanted that diplomat killed anyway. So that made sense. So here Brad Pitt was falling in love with somebody. He thought he knew who she was, but really she was a German spy. And then they settle into, I believe it was London, and they have a beautiful little girl. They're happy, they're thriving. But then Marianne is approached by the Germans. They found her. And the nice lady next door, the nice French lady next door, who became their babysitter, actually was a German spy who threatened the life of the baby if Marianne didn't cooperate. And then another contact was a jeweler in the city. So Marianne was in a bind. Do I tell my husband, hey, guess what? I'm really not who you thought I was from the very beginning. I've been lying the entire time. I'm actually a German spy. That was a tough choice. She decided, what the heck? I don't have a good choice here. I've got to cooperate or they're going to kill my baby. So she would pass information on to the Germans. So she was sort of trapped by her previous false self, and she was trapped by her alliances. It's sort of like somebody being trapped by their addiction. For me, I've realized that when my relationship with Betsy began, it began on false premises, and that is she was looking for a sugar daddy, and I was just looking for a pretty girl who thought I was cool, who would be good in bed, frankly. And we both got what we were looking for. Was it solid love between two real selves? Not at all. So she was a German spy. I didn't know who she was. In her mind, she was still free to have sex with other guys because I was just somebody to pay the bills with. But that's what I signed on for. I grew up with a fake mom, and I needed a fake girlfriend. So this Marianne, she started the relationship with Brad Pitt as a liar, as a double agent, as a German spy. But then she genuinely did fall in love with him. There was this powerful scene where he grabbed hold of her, he looked her in the face, and he said, "Is this real? Our love, what we have, is it real?" Of course, she said it was, but I had my doubts. At the end of the movie, Brad Pitt was trying to escape with his wife and his baby because he was going to be forced to shoot her in the head, or they both were going to be shot. She was going to get shot, he was going to be hanged. How's that for a situation? You really love somebody and you got to go shoot him in the head or be hanged. So he was getting in an airplane and he was getting ready to run off with the wife who really loved him, and he really loved her. And the baby, and then his superiors showed up, and they drove their Rolls Royce right into the propeller of the plane, so he couldn't get away. And he said, "Dude, you gotta face this. She is a German spy." And so she was in the car, and there was a revolver in the car. And so I thought, thinking that everybody out there is the most notorious, sneakiest, dastardly, evil, narcissistic monster possible, I thought she was going to get out of the car, walk up to the two men, and just blow their brains out. And we have a smirk on her face as she shoots her husband, saying, "I gotcha. These other men are going to kill me, but pow. Guess what? I didn't fucking love you." That's what I thought was going to happen, because I've been a bit jaded by experiences. So what really happened was she really did love him. Her allegiance wasn't to Germany. Her allegiance was to her husband and to her baby. She gave her baby a kiss, and then she resolved the situation in the only way possible for her to resolve it, and that is she put the revolver right here and shot herself in the brain. And then the officer who was Brad Pitt's friend and boss said Brad Pitt did it. He shot her in the head like he was supposed to, so he's not going to be hung. So she knew that Brad Pitt would take good care of their baby. In the end of the movie was they were out on a ranch, they were riding horses, and he was this loving father, and she was this beautiful teenage girl. So here's part of my cognitive dissonance. When I was discarded, it was leave me alone, don't contact me. But there was one line in the letter, and it said, I love you, and I always will. And I never knew what to do with that line, because to me, you're either all black or you're all white. You're either all good or you're either all bad. You either love me with all your heart or you hate me. And I think what happened was the relationship started with her being a German spy, but somewhere along the line, I think there was some genuine love. I don't think she was in love with me as much as Marianne was in love with Brad Pitt. I don't know if it's because I'm not as cool or good looking as Brad Pitt, but she loved him with all her heart. But she had these allegiances and fears, and she had an old false self, and she had secrets. But that's what made it all the more painful, is I felt so many experiences where there was genuine love on my part and on her part, and everything in me told me that there was some love there. So I guess what I'm saying, there are shades of gray. Somebody can be a sex addict, they can be a mild to moderate narcissist, and they sign up as a German spy, and then they can fall in love with you halfway, a third of the way, 2/3 of the way. It's not 100% or zero, but I know that Betsy did love me, and I loved her. She didn't love me the way I needed to be loved. From the time she shifted from German spy to being in love with me, it was maybe anywhere from 30 to 60% love, but it was there. And she would still send messages to the Germans. She would still go out and act out sexually, but it was due to her false self and her allegiances. There was genuine love there, which makes me then analyze my mother, because if Betsy never loved me, then I was basing it on my mom never loved me at all. And when I think about abandoning an infant, there's not a lot of love in abandoning an infant, but I remember too many times in my childhood where I did feel loved by my mother. And again, it wasn't love like a mother should give a boy. It wasn't nearly enough. It was 30% good mother love and not 100%. I don't know if anybody gets 100%, but there was some genuine concern and love for me from my mother. She was just crippled. She spent the first 5 years of her life in an orphanage. You know, what did she know about loving 7 children that she had, before she was 35? So there is gray area. It's not black or white. I don't know what this means to you. It may be black and white for you. You'll have to search your soul and sort it out. I think what happened was, Betsy found out and she was going to get in recovery, and she told me, but my narcissistic abuse syndrome symptoms were just so intense because I was so caught off guard and I had such strong complex PTSD. I shamed her. I was angry and aggressive and hurtful towards her. And she mistook that as I didn't love her. And nothing could have been further from the truth. Actually, it was just a raging infant inside me, but it wasn't all of me. It wasn't that. She actually said that she felt like I had thrown her away. And of course, the first thought I had was, well, no, you threw me away. But it's also true that she felt thrown away because I probably did 30, 40, 50 really negative, aggressive things just as a result of raw. You take a wounded animal and you back him into a corner, you're going to get bit. But that isn't who I was. That's not how I felt. It's really sort of tragic, really, that she would think what she thought about me, and I would think what I thought about her. So anyway, it just makes sense to me. She still was a borderline. She still betrayed me. She still was a German spy. But she didn't get out of the car and with a smirk on her face blow my brains out. She did have love in her heart for me, and there was some humanity in her, and that just resonates. I don't know if that's the case with you. The same with my mother. My mother was a terrible mother, and she had very limited resources to meet the needs of all those children, and I got the short end of the stick. I got abandoned severely. She never should have let me rage in the backyard, abandoned like that. It was just so hurtful. But she did love me. She did care about me. And she did write me that letter that spelled it out. And thank God for that I know, why I am the way I am. So what I'm saying is, maybe you married a German spy, but maybe your situation isn't that it was a total setup and they were just using you, and you're a blind, fool for love, and they'll cut your gizzard out as soon as you find out they're a German spy. Perhaps they sign on as a way of manipulating you and garnering narcissistic supply, and somewhere along the line they have some heart, some humanity, some love for you. Could be. It was for me. So it made me think of some lyrics from the Eagles, One of These Nights. I've been searching for the daughter of the devil himself. I've been searching for an angel in white. I've been waiting for a woman who's a little of both, and I can feel her, but she's nowhere in sight. What I'm saying is, these people are really morally bankrupt. They are so hurtful. They are cluster Bs. But if you get in the shallow end of the pool, the moderate to mild end of the pool, there could be some heart. There could be a woman who's a little of both. She's the daughter of the devil, but there's also some angel in white. It's not 100% daughter of the devil. Just saying, life is complicated. So often we in this narcissistic abuse syndrome movement, we see the world as very black and very white. There's us and them. There's the good guy and the bad guy. There's the devil and there's God. And you know what? Sometimes I fear that we're hateful. And that doesn't serve us well. It serves us well to see people as they are and not get fooled and not get destroyed. But to see the world as this horrifically wicked place and you hate the evil narcissist, I don't think that's healthy. So I really want to redirect you to focus on the wounds of your childhood and learn, why did you pick this particular German spy to be your wife? Why did you pick the German spy to be your husband? A lot of people out there to marry, that's who you chose. You had an agenda. You had an unconscious agenda. There's way more gray area out there and a lot less black and white than I previously could have possibly imagined. I wish I knew 19 months ago what I know now. I wish I was emotionally stable. I still don't believe I would have ended up with Betsy, but we could have processed it in a safer, saner, more civil manner than what we were able to do in all the rawness. So feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to say Mark's soft-soaping narcissism, and he says that, they're not all devils. They might have a little bit of angel and white in them. But I'm just telling you, when I saw that movie, this woman was a German friggin' spy passing on information to the Germans. She started the relationship as a complete lie. But the truth is, she adored her husband, and she adored her daughter, and she chose to take a bullet in the head from her own self rather than to put him in that situation. So just some food for thought, that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That's the horrible thing about somebody who's newly shattered, is the cognitive dissonance. When you can remember 100 times when they were genuinely loving, how could they be a German spy who just pulled a gun and shot your brains out? It doesn't make sense. And there are people out there that are just heartless people who never loved and never knew how to love. I don't think that was my situation, but you'll have to sort it out to see. The main thing is if they don't love you now, and if they're aligned with the Germans, then you'd better protect yourself and see them for who they are if they're still a danger to you. Anyway, it was a really good movie. It was a good study of characters of black and white. How can you begin a relationship with a lie and there still be love in it while you're betraying your husband and your country? How is that possible? I think that line from Betsy saying goodbye to me that said, "I love you and I always will." I wrote that off as, she had to put that in there for the people who helped write that letter. But I think that's what she meant. She was saying, I'm a German spy. I got caught. I'm in love with this other guy. I'm a sex addict. I've started the relationship as a way to get money. I've been checked out of the relationship for a year. But somewhere along the line, I actually did love you, dude. That's what I think. And I don't know your situation. You'll have to sort it out for yourself. But watch the movie. It'll really give you some food for thought, how people can be a woman who's a little bit of both, not just the daughter of the devil and not just an angel in white, but a woman who's a little bit of both. Thank you for watching today. If you haven't joined our YouTube channel, you can be notified when we make these lovely videos for you. Subscribe at Family Tree Counseling on YouTube, and also I have lots of good books on our website, familytreecounseling.com, where you can get a great book on abandonment. I think one of the best books written on abandonment. When you have two couples who have abandonment issues and they're doing the crazy dance, that's the book you want to get. It's called Managing Abandonment Issues Through Recovery, familytreecounseling.com. Lots of other books and videos on that website. Enjoy the movie if you go. And maybe you'll go now as a result of this, that is, as this gray. I don't mean to add to your cognitive dissonance. I really don't. I'm just saying, maybe in the beginning of a shattering, we need to cling to things that are black or white, good or bad, just to make sense of it. But maybe you get, a year and a half-ish down the road, maybe you can notice, hey, she could have been a German spy. She could have started the relationship as a lie and still had some love. I don't think that I ever had 70% love or even 60% love, maybe not even 50% love from my mom or from Betsy. But I'm pretty sure I had 30-40% genuine, heartfelt love. It'll still get you shattered. It'll still wound you to your infantile core. But just some things to think about, my friends. God bless. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.